Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back as we are going into game number 2 between Cincinnati Fear and DK Crew. And honestly, that was a very, very impactful finish coming out from the side of Cincinnati Fear.
Yeah, Cincinnati Fear, like you said, I mean, just striking fear into DK Crew, not only the players, but all the fans, because honestly, taking a glimpse into Twitch chat between games, we've got some DK Crew fans, some Banana Slammers in the chat, so hopefully they can run it back for game 2 and pull out the dub and get us to a game 3.
Yeah, some Banana Slammers and some Slamma Bananas going on inside of chat. I've seen it. And, you know, talking about the fans, we had a whole entire thing. I want to look at our predictions real quick, because I do think that there's something very interesting here. So as you can see, we can look through the graphic. Don't look at the numbers at the top. That's not important. We go down here to the bottom. We got Fear versus DK Crew. It's pretty split, right? Pretty split. You see that Grapes has learned his lesson from last week when he made DK Crew content. He actually voted for DK Crew. Very proud of him. Eric, what are you doing? he's got fear. He doesn't believe in the team he wrote a song for. Okay.
Yeah, this man put how many hours into making that song? And don't get me wrong, beautiful song.
Banger.
Very talented man.
Super talented.
Very handsome man.
Handsome as can be.
But thank you.
Oh yeah.
Production.
Yep. So we can look at this.
It's
right
just
here.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
You just don't find him faithful anymore. Just don't find him faithful anymore.
You really can't, man. You really can't. Are you faithful still?
Yes. I'm still. Listen. All bias to the side. There's 2 words that I live by, and that is Banana Slam. Okay. Okay. That is my life's motto. I came out as a small child. My first words were Banana Slam. Okay. I am here for DK Crew. I've been voting for him ever since day 1. All right. So, you know, I still got that faith.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, CLG Faith will have to watch him play at a later date. no faith in this game.
They do. They play next week. Okay, so
yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. We'll see him next week. But for today, DK Crew has to figure out a way. They tried something a little bit different. They went for a Singe support. We've seen a lot of people theory craft this pick into Yuumi lanes. Didn't get to work. Paired together with the Lucian, they just didn't find the options that were there, and the forced fights and the huge advantage that Sketch and Dragoon got was hard to deal with.
It really was, and you gave Fear ultra comfort. You give Plux his Yuumi. He's so good on enchanters. You're giving Sketch's Tristana. Our fellow co-caster and good friend Grapes has literally written like an entire sketch about banning Sketch's Tristana. He's just too good on it.
Yeah.
And just the rest of the team has such comfort champions. And it's basically a run back of what they used to beat MU. So I'm interested to see, does DK Crew maybe adapt, like Maryville did last week, ban a couple of things, change up their strategy, and really mix things up for game 2? Or are we going to get a run back and maybe a quick 2-0?
There's a possibility for both, right? Fear has been in this situation too, where they have gone 1 game ahead and then found themselves to struggle to close out the series, right? Like you brought up the Maryville, they took them to a 3-game series. Yes, they won the first game in that one as well. And it is a little bit of a worry, right? You have to hope that this isn't Cincinnati Fear's strategy of win 1 game to give fans false hope. And they have to be solid. They have to be concise. They have to continue to play the way they want to. And even though, you know, I've given quite a bit of like DK memorabilia and I've been super big about them, there's so many players that are so fun to watch. I've been very loud about the fact that I am so sad that this is an elimination game because of the fact that I love both of these teams. But Fear has a lot of tools, and Dragoon showed up big, Sketch showed up big. You got to figure out a way to neutralize it.
That's the thing about having one of these star-studded amateur rosters, because let's say that Trickster has an off game like he did last game, right? His Viego was not what was winning that game for them. Mm-hmm. You've got Sketch and Dragoon who can pick up that load. Same goes for if Dragoon has an off game or Sketch has an off game. You've got Blaze and Trickster who are more than happy to pick up the slack and carry the team from there. But instantly, a Gwen ban from DK Crew, they're not letting that through. I'm interested to see what other bans they opt to go for. Is Tristana something they're going to ban? Are they going to look to ban maybe Viego? There's Trickster's Lilia. That means that they can't really ban too much else from game one, which makes me think maybe Sketch gets his Tristana again. Plux probably gets an Enchanter again, right? Lulu, I believe, was banned in the last draft. So that champion might get through for Plux. There's so many different ways this draft can go.
Yeah, it can go either way. The first pick is not going to be Gwen. It isn't going... They could still first pick the Tristana, still, because they could do like the flex pick Tristana strategy, which a lot of people have done. I like the respect that's coming out from DK Crew where they're saying no Talia, because I think Talia is very scary to give over to Cincinnati Fear. So
yeah,
I want to see what the first pick is. Is it just going to be Viego or Wukong?
It certainly could, right? We saw them give up Wukong last game. They could take it this game. They could also take Lucian, but I think Wukong is the safest, right? Wukong, honestly, not really a flex pick anymore. It's pretty much strictly jungle in terms of where teams, at least in this tournament, are putting the Wukong. So that means Trickster is going to get another one of his junglers that he's comfortable on. He showed practice on. He showed poise on. Wukong locked in. Now comes Shorter Ace's answer, because Talia's banned, Lilia's banned, Karthus is banned. It makes me think you're maybe going towards a Viego. So I think Victor Viego could be a strong pairing here, but you don't quite need to take your jungler right now because you have no threat of it being taken away, right? So you can take the Victor, you can pair it alongside whatever AD carry you want, and then you can look to take Viego on 3 if that's the direction you want to go with your draft.
That's a Kalista.
Yeah, so Singed game 1 and Kalista game 2, at least Kalista's a little bit more meta. You know, we've heard about it dominating scrims. It was played at MSI.
Yeah.
It's an interesting champion because it's very similar to their last bot lane where it's kind of feast or famine, right? You need to get ahead. You need to start getting some kills to snowball the game. And even then, that sometimes is not enough. And they're staring down the barrel of a Jinx who can scale very well into this game.
Yep. Can easily get excited and scrap all your aspirations to take this to a game 3 very quickly. And I like this. They pair it with a Tahm Kench. Great for a hyper carry. Great to make sure that it'll be safe. And also takes away Tahm Kench away from Kalista, because you could do a Kalista Tahm Kench route. That is a Renata locked in to go side by side with the Kalista.
Yeah, Renata into Tahm Kench is a little bit similar compared to Renata into Nautilus, right? You can sort of stack up your support item, you can land a little bit of poke. Difference being that you can't quite... It's not as meaningful to fling away Tahm Kench as it is fling away a Nautilus, right? That can be a very satisfying and meaningful interaction. But still, quite a strong lane for the Renata paired alongside the Kalista. In Phase 2 bans, there's that Darius ban for Dragoon, something we haven't seen him draw too much of ever since his old one-trick days where he was very, very strong on that champion. Ornn ban for Lawrence makes sense. There's Ahri coming in against Blaze, and both teams looking to just maybe pick 1 or 2 champions from the solo laners to ban for Phase 2.
I am curious if they do ban Gnar away too, right? Because that is Lawrence's, like, if I can think of a signature pick for Lawrence, it's definitely Gnar. Yeah. So yeah, makes sense. Make him uncomfortable. And we go into our next pick here. What are you showing?
It could maybe be Jace. I could see having some value. Not quite sure you'd want to pick it blind here, so I think they're going to opt towards a jungler. Xin Zhao fits the rest of this team composition. You can spread out fights. It gives you some strong early skirmish tools. Would not be surprised to see that one locked in, and there it is. And now it's going to have to be a blind pick top laner for Dragoon. And it's going to have to be what mid lane counter pick can you get after the Ahri is banned.
So Olaf top, if this gets locked in, Olaf top is so incredibly strong. I love this champion. If you know your limits, you can just run at people with no fear in your heart. If this is Anivia, they also give themselves some nice wave clear as well as some great team fighting. Blaze has a phenomenal Anivia. This is spooks.
Yeah, this is like Thanos Anivia game in my opinion, because there's not amazing engage to get on top of you. It's similar to when G2 picked Anivia at MSI the first time, and it was just a very strong performance from Caps. Wow, could this be an Aksha on top? for Lawrence. This is certainly something that can bully the Olaf early on, but the problem is if you get hit by one axe, you could get chased down very, very easily on the side of Lawrence. So it very much is a high risk, high reward matchup where if you can keep your space, if you can poke the Olaf down, you can win that lane quite heavily. But on the flip side, if you mess up at all, Olaf can just eat you alive.
Yeah, you catch one axe and he will see how many times you want to catch it in a row, right? Like, is just, it's an abusive lane. Really and truly it is. This is one of those lanes that I really enjoy being able to play whenever I play a top lane, because it's just like, other people don't know how to deal with it, man. Yeah, especially once you hit 6, you're just Ragnarok at them and they can't do anything about it. They can't run away from you. So this is going to be a very good matchup. And Dragoon just got a pop-off game number 1. This could be a pop-off game number 2 if he's able to get going, as you were talking about on this Olaf. We've already seen it. Dragoon is comfortable being able to close out with a heavy lead.
I think Dragoon is set up to have a monster of a game 2 here, because if he can get through the laning phase...
It's Wukong top.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, so that is a deviation that I wasn't quite expecting, but I think it does make a little bit of sense, because I think Wukong can handle a ranged lane a little bit more consistently than Olaf can.
Yeah.
And also Olaf is a trickster champion. So it makes sense that you're picking the Olaf, regardless of whether it's top or jungle. I think Olaf is good in this game because you can get through the Victor gravity field. You can ignore a lot of Renata's crowd control. You're not knocked away by the Xin Zhao. So you can just charge headfirst into these fights and look to really blow things up to make a lot of chaos happen around you. And then you've got these big, massive backline carries in the Anivia and the Jinx that are going to be out damaging their counterparts on DK Crew, assuming that everything's even.
I do like the idea too, like you were talking about. We're getting ready to go into the game here, and I'm ready to see exactly how they handle this, because you were talking about it earlier. There's not really much engaged, but one thing I will say is Renata automatically gives you a plethora of disengage, right? Like, if a fight starts to happen and you start piling in, Renata can really punish that, especially a Jinx that's getting ahead. There's nothing like turning the opposing Jinx against the other team. As we're getting into game number 2, match point in favor of Cincinnati Fear. Their tournament lives are at stake, both of these teams.
Yeah, this is an elimination game. The winner goes on to fight for their lives for playoffs. The loser is knocked out of the first Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier tournament, right? So this is the most important game of the season so far for these teams. And I think both teams have relatively comfortable drafts for themselves. The only thing that really kind of sticks out to me, a couple of things. How comfortable is Blaze on Anivia mid? And how comfortable is Lawrence on Akshan top? I think those are the two sort of wild cards in this team composition. Everything else, we've seen these players play. We know that they're pretty comfortable on them. It's those two picks that are really going to stand out to me in this game. And I'm curious to see how they are going to perform, because I think they are the crux of their team's compositions.
I agree. I absolutely do agree. Last time I got to see Blaze play Anivia, it was a phenomenal game. So I'm actually very excited to see what happens here. It does have like a little bit of mechanical know-how to be able to pilot it the way you want it to. You see a little bit of trading happening in the bot side. This is definitely what we're going to see, especially with a Kalista. Evan RL picking yet again an AD carry he wants to win the laning phase with.
Yeah, Evan RL, not typically known as somebody who's going to play for lane, but the last 2 games, he's been put into a position where he has to get ahead in the lane. And last game, honestly, they found windows to get a few kills. Evan RL was 3-0 at one point. So it's not impossible for Evan RL to win this lane. As a matter of fact, it's more than likely. I think Evan RL is a very mechanically talented AD carry, but we're going to have to ski, because Sketch and Plux are no pushovers whatsoever. They are one of, if not the best, raw amateur bot lanes that we have in this tournament.
Sketch is the man who can draw 5 AD carry bands and still carry, right? Like, that is a scary person to find yourself against. And Dragoon taking a little bit of poke away from Lawrence. I'm curious on where Trickster is going to look to make his impact known right after get-go. It feels like we've kind of gone back in time a little bit. But here we go. Action on the
heavy trade.
Ignite is there. The exhaust is on Evan RL. Look at how many spears are launched into him. Yoink them out and reap your reward. Double kill to Evan RL.
Evan RL blowing up the early game, and he has Treasure Hunter as well. So not only is that 2 kills, not only is that going to be a crashed wave for the side of Evan RL, but it means even more, because with Treasure Hunter, look at that base. Berserker Greaves make Callista feel so good to play. Your auto attacks are so smooth. Let's see how this unfolds, actually, because we see Shorter Ace skip a couple of camps to make his way down to the bot side, and there's that Renata matchup into Tahm Kench that feels really good, at least in the early stages. Evan RL, he has no fear, has the heal. There's Shorter Ace as well. Probably would have been a clean 2 versus 2, but it would have been very close. The fact that Shorter Ace was there and was willing to skip a couple of camps to make it in time means it's clean. 2 kills over to Evan RL, and now they have the advantage in this lane, a lane where they very much desperately needed to get ahead early.
Yeah, go ahead and get that start going for yourselves. Shorter Ace did not grab Scuttle, by the way, but when he left that lane, he actually went right back to farming up because he did run straight down there. So there's a potential that he does get double scuttled again. They do have vision on him if he does go down here. Lawrence might be getting ganked. Trickster is here.
Ooh. Akshan is susceptible to ganks.
Yeah, they're taking it full advantage of it. Nice flash with the hook shot. Zip around and is safe.
Yeah, very, very nice hook shot to get out of that. But that does mean Flash is down. Trickster looking again.
Yeah,
they found him.
There's no ghost. There's no way for him to get out. He will be halted. And here comes the fight from Dragoon. He's utilizing those clones so well. Red buff is on him, but it's not enough to deal with the spear of Shorter Ace.
DK Crew, what a bounce back in game 2. Right off the bat, Shorter Ace making 2 incredibly impactful plays back-to-back. First, the play in the bot lane to secure the double kill for Evan RL. Now up in the top side to get 2 kills onto himself and Lawrence combined. DK Crew, 2,000 gold lead at 5 minutes. Savage looking to press forward in the mid lane as well. And if you're a Banana Slammer, you're looking pretty happy right now.
Yeah, and look at this. I love this call, man. They know that he doesn't have Ghost anymore.
Yeah, as soon as Olaf has that no-ghost, I will say good on Dragoon to get that trade kill, because if he died and it was just a clean 2-for-0, that is a disaster. The fact he gets a trade kill there means, okay, at least something is back on the side of DK Crew, but look at the Akshan build. First item, Ninja Tabby, actually the plated steel caps, excuse me. He's able to really withstand a lot of that Wukong burst now, and if Olaf comes up for a gank, he's just getting double value from those boots.
Ooh. Didn't notice. Dragoon shows himself anyways, but yeah, this is definitely a hard to play matchup. The Scuttle has been alive for so long, and now it is finally being taken now that the Prio is there. Savage in a rough way. The Chaos Storm is there. Will be able to pop the passive. No. Yes. Gets the passive pop. Now Trickster is all alone in the fight. He's going to find himself dropped. Shorter Ace, another kill for himself.
Shorter Ace on this Xin Zhao is looking so much better than last game on that Wukong. So many proactive plays. It's going to be Dragon as well. Evan RL, maybe a solo kill. They have to burn Exhaust.
Yeah, yet again, the Exhaust plus Chomps get laid out. This has happened yet again, but this time they find safety. They find refuge under the tower, but this is Dragon for DK Crew.
That is Dragon over to the side of DK Crew. 2,000 gold lead. First Dragon secured. They've got some scaling within their composition. Savage's Victor looking really good this game. Honestly, I'm struggling to see. This is not the early game Fear wanted. They wanted to make sure that either they were staying neutral or ahead in the early game. And sure, you have Anivia and Jinx. You've got the Wukong. You have team fighting tools. But it's going to be very difficult to team fight if you're going to be behind thousands of gold going into the mid game. And Trickster is spotted again.
Yeah, this is a series of just unfortunate things. We talked about how great Olaf is when he's ahead. But what about when he is behind? And that is a question we're looking to get answered. They know exactly where Trickster is. Lawrence looking to jump into him, puts himself into a position for safety. The Cyclone comes in. Savage is coming in as the reinforcements. And Dragoon, he secures a kill. It's a 1-for-1 yet again. The flash has to get blown, but Lawrence is zipping through. He comes in clutch. Dragoon was sure to fall here. Lawrence finds himself a kill, and it's all coming up in favor of DK Crew.
That might be the longest hook shot I have ever seen in my entire life. He went around that entire wall to chase Dragoon and make sure that nobody was getting out of there. But look at this. I mean, Trickster has some sort of a read that he's able to go for this invade, but he has no priority mid. He has no priority top. He's getting collapsed on. And again, thank God that Dragoon finds this counter kill, because if they don't get this, it is doomed. Look at this hook shot. Goes across the entire wall. Oh my gosh, that's got to be max range on that hook shot. But it's so meaningful, because instead of a 1-for-1, that's 2-for-1, and now you crash the wave, and you shut down the Wukong as well. So all of that means it's almost a 3,000 gold lead for DK Crew, and it really is looking to be a tough early game. Trickster making multiple errors.
Yeah, Trickster is not having a good time. Not what you want to see on an Olaf. He's going to get spotted here yet again. Shorter Ace is here, but they know where Shorter Ace is as well, so they know... Do not go for this play. It will not end up pretty. Sketch is actually rotated out of bot lane to just come mid to assist on this. Savage is in a rough way. Has to use that gravity field. Chompers have been laid out, but it's not going to cut off the escape. Abyssal Voyage later. The Super Mega Death Rocket. Savage is still alive, and the challenge keeps him going. Eats up on some fruit, and now Plutz is the one that is in danger. The storm is there, but DK Crew come out on top, and Savage finds a kill on the Victor.
DK Crew matching blow for blow there. They disengage on Savage, and they find the counter kill onto Plux, and it really does feel like that's the theme of this game. Cincinnati Fear just overextending, and DK Crew responding perfectly. Sure, Rift Herald goes over to Trickster, but look at this bot lane turret. They're bleeding waves. They're bleeding plates. That's the 4th plate over to Evan RL and Clyde, and they're gonna look for a play on the top side of the map. They're gonna try to get this turret. But it doesn't really matter, because bot tower is basically already dead for the side of DK Crew, and they're not going to be able to do anything too meaningful. Look at Lawrence, though, sneaking into the alcove. I don't think it's going to mean much, though.
Sneaky. Doesn't matter. We'll lose a wave there. Looking to see if he can catch out an overextended Sketch, but Sketch smells it. He's not going for that play. Won't take the bait. And like you said, it's everything that they're trying to do. Fiercey feels a little bit scrambled at this moment. Blaze just got his res back, so this could be an important moment to watch out for if that res is able to come out with some meaning in this fight. But Plutz is caught out in a weird way. Oh no. My god! Yoinked back! That's the tilter play there. The spillers are there. There's no running away. Evan RL. It's just brutal, this game.
Every play going in the favor of DK Crew. I mean, every single play. They're finding pick after pick. They're turning around the engages, and here's another one.
Yep, forces to flash. Or else he'll find up on the end of Shorter Ace's spear. This is a great game coming out from DK Crew. Almost a 5k lead, 11 minutes in. The storm is there. They're looking to see if they can catch on to him. The gravity field doesn't get the stun. Doesn't pop the passive either. Trickster coming up to try and assist over here onto the top line play. Dragoon does have the Cyclone available.
It's such a weird game, too. But I say that, and this tower's about to die, and so will Fear's bot lane.
Hey, look, don't go berserk if you're inside the belly of Plutz, though. So nice save. Tower does drop. Lawrence doesn't get dove. Shorter Ace is here. They have to turn their attention immediately on the Lawrence. Lawrence is trying to do whatever he can to kite it out, and he does so successfully. Wow. 2 kills to DK Crew topside.
DK Crew, you could not ask for a better game 2 after the way that game 1 went. They are up almost 7,000 gold at the 11-minute mark. Second Dragon will likely be theirs as soon as Shorter Ace makes his way down there, and is it too early to call it, Travesty? Is it too early to call it?
I mean, right now, you can see how this play even comes out here. Like, it's textbook. You get the Herald crash. They just want Lawrence. They're so down bad for him.
They just desperately need some gold. Look at that hook shot. Disengages perfectly. Shorter Ace finds his way in here. Splits the fight. And look at that. They extend. Look at the flash. Lawrence plays it to perfection. Gets the reset on the hook shot to disengage from the second kill. Cincinnati Fear is playing with such desperation right now. They're really trying their hardest to get these kills. They're trying their hardest to get back into this game. But every step of the way, DK Crew is there to not only match their play, but to make a play of their own. And they're playing so perfectly in this game, too. And what a perfect bounce back.
Yeah. Such a great bounce back. And you can even see it in the total gold. Evan RL, the major carry with this Callista. Absolute superb play. Has that shield bow completed. But look at it. It's all the lanes are ahead for DK Crew. And Savage is walking forward so confidently. Clyde is getting jumps onto. The Ragnarok has to be burned just to stop Clyde from flicking him. And now Trickster is dealing with the consequences. And they come by the name of Evan RL, a Chaos Storm later.
Oh, no.
And Blaze finds his first death of the game.
There's nothing Fear can do. There's simply nothing they can do. Every play they try to make is countered perfectly. And look at this. Evan RL finding Dragoon. Dragoon has flash. But he probably
does. He has to go ahead and jump over the wall, though. He is going to find a lot of spears lodged into him. Uses the Cyclone one last time defiantly as he escapes with his life. But it's a 7.5K gold lead here for DK Crew.
2 dragons, 7.5K gold lead. It's only going to grow as this top tower. They're going to lose a plate here before plates fall. I mean, Travesty, this has to be maybe the most one-sided early game of the tournament so far. Certainly out of all the games I've watched, which is pretty much every game, this seems to be the most one-sided match we've had in terms of just early gold lead and early dominance. And a lot of it comes off the back of Trickster's Olaf, because he did force some plays early on that weren't really great plays to go for. And then as soon as he's found himself in this hole, when you're playing a champion like Olaf, it oftentimes feels like your only way out of that hole is by forcing more and more plays. So the second you keep going for them and DK Crew keeps responding to them, you just fall further and further behind.
Okay. And a lot of this credit goes to Shorter Ace, right? Like, we got 13 kills on the board for DK Crew. He's 3-1-7. He has participated in 10 of 13 kills for his team. And a lot of that has been him just being ready to match Trickster at every regard. And you're seeing how that has turned things in their favor. The laners have gotten ahead just so tremendously that even this Anivia, where you were talking about, wow, this could be a good game for it if it's able to be piloted to success and it's able to hit those mid-game items. It works well into the composition. But now we're even seeing, like, okay, yeah, but Savage just tags him with one ability, and all of a sudden the Anivia is pushed so far off screen.
Exactly, right? The Anivia and the Jinx would have been amazing this game if it was an even game. But the fact that they're so far behind means that Shorter Race can just dive into team fights. And exactly like you said, Savage just needs to drop the ultimate on top of Anivia, and there's really no fight left in Blaze from that point.
No.
They're maybe going to look for a dive onto Lawrence, but I just don't see a world in which you kill him.
Run it back time. Here we go. Hookshot has been used. Trickster is able to get out of harm's way, but that's the ghost being blown. Lots of damage being put onto Trickster. The Cyclone's there, and they get Lawrence. A huge shutdown as the Super Mega Downfarket was there to stop any hope of survival from Lawrence as well. Nice play.
Great job holding the axe for after the hook shot, making sure that you line that one up, get the slow, get those chain axes rolling, and that is a meaningful shutdown onto Dragoon, right? That is a little bit of gold in his pocket. If they can get the shutdown on Savage and Evan RL and maybe a few objective bounties, they can start to close this gold lead. It's still a 7,000 gold lead, right? It was 8,000, to be fair, but it's still a 7,000 gold lead. Third dragon spawning soon. You still don't have a mythic on Anivia. I believe she's going back to base to buy it right now. And look at the total gold for each member in this game.
It's still so hard. For the person that has the most gold is Dragoon. And yet again, Dragoon is the player that we have to keep our eyes on to, because Dragoon is their main source of being able to start things up, right? But look at this. Now it's just Herald summoned in the mid lane. What's your answer?
Yeah, you definitely lose your first turret. If DK Crew pushes for a second, they may lose that as well. They should be able to maybe hold on to their second turret here, just because they can kill that Rift Herald quite easily. And yeah, they hold on to their second turret, but now you're pushed back. Your vision line is pushed back. You can't really contest this next Drake, which means you're staring down the barrel of a soul point. And Blaze, he really wants this tower bounty, but he just can't quite justify walking up to it. And I think he's going to go for it. When you're this far behind, you need to make calculated risks like this. You need to take them because otherwise you just have no way of coming back.
Yeah, Next Dragon spawns up here in 15 seconds. DK Crew want to secure that for themselves. That ensures themselves to be at soul point, and it is a Hextech soul as well. So very valuable for this team, for DK Crew. Nivea gets it. Will he get punished? Trickster is here, and so is Plutz. A nice stun. Savage trying to weather the storm and brings a storm of his own, but it's not moving along the way he intended, as Blaze is going to find himself staying alive. Good play from Cincinnati Fear.
Cincinnati Fear gets the shutdown onto Victor, and they get the top lane turret. That's pretty big. Now this gold lead all of a sudden is 5,500, when it was 8,000 just a couple minutes ago. Dragoon also could push for this bot lane tier 1 tower, and that's more gold into their pocket, but Dragoon's not going to risk that. He realizes he doesn't have knowledge of where the enemies are. He doesn't want to fall victim to that, but slowly but surely, Fear are chipping away at this gold lead. But importantly, there is a timer on them, right? Third Dragon was secured by DK Crew, which means that no matter what, in 4.5 minutes, you have to fight the next dragon or give up Hextech Soul, which puts you even further behind.
This is a big thing. And you can see the gold grab. It's been shored up a little bit, as you were just talking about. At one point in time, it got to an 8.3. But now, as you said, Cincinnati Fear has made some good movements on the map. They've got some clutch shutdowns. They are not out of this just yet. But, oh man, Shorter Ace jumping on the Blaze. Clutch trying to come in to save the day. We'll put him inside the belly. The Glacial Storm is still there. The Berserk comes in, and everybody's fighting amongst themselves. Dragoon comes out big. Sketch finds a kill, and it is the Callista. Still alive. MRL finds 1 kill, but look at this on the side. Savage trying to go for the flank. He goes. Golden Storm is still there. Tom Kitch finding a jump onto Clyde. Savage drops as well, but it's another kill. Tom Kitch dropping. MRL is moving with such confidence forward. Finds himself another kill, and Blaze has to run away. Sketch has to run away. MRL is coming up huge.
Evan RL saving DK Crew. That looked like such a Cincinnati Fear one-sided fight as soon as Dragoon got that teleport in and found that massive engage, but they didn't find Evan RL. They could not get onto him, and he wreaked havoc in that team fight. He has 2 items. Look at this engage. Very nice chain engage from Shorter Race here, but Plux with the crucial eat buys time for this teleport to come in, and I thought that Clyde's ultimate might be enough to turn this, but look at the engage from Dragoon. 2 massive, but crucially, they don't get onto Evan RL. He is free hitting this entire fight. He just finished Rageblade. He is the strongest member. They push too far forward for this kill onto Victor. They expose themselves to Evan RL, and he plays it to perfection.
You can even see Savage puts out some key damage. Blaze got dropped down so low because of this. And Clyde backing him up as well. Like, this is just beautiful play. Such confidence coming out from Evan RL. And this is something that you love to see from this player. This marksman play 7-0-2 inside of the decisive game, and look at the damage chart between this Victor and Callista.
Yeah, Savage and Evan RL really carrying that team in their fight, saving DK Crew from what could have been a disastrous scenario if they were to just get wiped there, because objective bounties are up, right? So any team fight win that Fear can get means they might be able to get a tower or 2, means they might be able to close the gold lead even more, but because of Evan RL and Savage's heroics in that fight, the gold lead remains at about 6.5 to 7,000 gold, which is still a very, very meaningful gold lead. And like we've been talking about, Travesty, 1:40 until this soul comes up. We're looking at 2, even 3 items on the side of DK Crew completed, staring down the barrel of, you know, maybe 1.5, maybe 2 items for Fear if they can squeeze it out.
It's just this tricky situation, and you can see Evan RL making sure there's pressure known around this Baron. It is up now, so any potential fight. You were talking about objective bounties with Baron being up, Dragon coming up in about a minute. Cincinnati Fear is on a timer. 1 more lost fight can easily be DK Crew translating it over to Dragon Soul, getting a Baron, and how do you combat that?
There's really no way, right? If you fall that far behind, it is going to be very, very doomed. I'm interested to see, does DK Crew potentially focus more towards the top side, Look for a Baron, trade that for Dragon. It seems like, based off the way Shorter Ace is positioning, they want to play for the Dragon. They simply do not want to give up the potential of Soul, and they want to hold on to this bottom river. The key for Fear is finding a flank angle for Dragoon. He has no flash, but he does have an angle here that he could look for. But he is spotted. Oh, this is so tense, Travesty.
It really is, and it feels like it shouldn't be this tense with the gold lead that DK Crew has accrued for themselves, with the fact that they've gotten 17 kills in comparison to the 7, but it is just that tense. After that last team fight here, they are staring. We got ourselves a little bit of a standoff in the mid lane. Who will be the one to pull the go trigger first? You see Cincinnati Fear, they found the inside track finally inside of the mid lane off the back of the Wave Flare Blaze. But here's what you were talking about. The decision to go over to Baron. They might give over Dragon, but can you contest this?
No, I think if you are Cincinnati Fear, you give up the Baron and you play, you got the Dragon, you stop Soul, you can withstand a Baron buff siege. It's not that bad. Oh my god, if they get that steal. Okay, no. Woo-wee. That would have been spicy.
Savage getting caught out of position. Lawrence is here. Okay, nobody dies on the play. That would have been the worst case scenario for DK Crew if they did find several members routed. But
I like that Blaze instantly passed down to the bot lane, right? He realizes that because they're going for Baron, he can get this tower objective bounty. So that's Dragon objective bounty and bot lane tower objective bounty. We'll see what the gold lead is after this. It's about a 6,500 gold lead. So it's the same as it was before, but that's with DK Crew getting Baron. So they're able to really nullify a lot of the initial Baron gold, and now it comes down to whether or not DK Crew can utilize this Baron to break open the base. They need to use this Baron very well to make sure they can finally just put a nail in the coffin for Cincinnati Fear.
they need to. And I think the key member they're watching out for is Sketch and Dragoon. Yet again, they have been big playmakers amongst their team. Shorter Ace might be caught out of position here. Trickster is looking to spy him out, but they will not overstay. Shorter Ace actually stole the blue buff away with his spear. Oh, man.
That's tough. That is tough.
This is going to be a siege over into the top side. Dragoon taking a couple spears into the back as he tries to retreat away. There we go. Ghost has been used. They have their sights onto Evan RL. But look at this. Look at the amount of spears that being put onto him. They go berserk, and Clyde gets the kill on the Trickster. Dragoon is into the back line, but he can't find the vital targets as they look to continue on forward. Lawrence is over here on the side, completely untouched. Blaze trying to put out the storm, but Evan RL is so confidently moving forward. They're going to be able to find more. A nice flash to dodge out onto the stun. And the HP bars are so low for the side of Cincinnati Fear. Wukong has TP, could be looking for a TP angle, but they forced DK Crew off of the siege.
Travesty, I don't know if my heart can handle this game. These teams are playing these fights to the bitter end. Both teams fighting back and forth, tooth and nail. It felt like if just a little bit more damage was done by DK Crew, that is an ace onto Cincinnati Fear, and they just win the game. But Fear team fights to perfection. They hold on, and not only that, they stop the siege. Look at this. Trickster pops the Ghost, doesn't land that first axe onto Evan RL, which means Evan can just keep kiting, and now Trickster's just blown up. Right? That's what happens when you fall this far behind on Olaf. But Dragoon buys time. Blaze buys time. The eat onto Dragoon, I mean, this fight is so close. Lawrence can't find an angle in because of beautiful chompers, and at this point, it is so close. If Evan RL can just get a little bit more damage down, that exhaust doesn't come through, then this is a completely different fight, and DK Crew might just win the game.
Yeah, this is dancing on the edge of a knife right now, but the gold lead has jumped up. Baron buff just expired. And a lot of gold for DK Crew off the back of it. Dragon spawns in a minute and a half now. DK Crew can easily put themselves into a position where they could possibly fight for this and possibly end off the back of a Dragon Soul fight. So Fear, they're on a timer.
Yeah, Fear needs to find a way to slowly take back control of their jungle and to try and fight this dragon. That last dragon, they had the luxury of Baron being up So they knew that they could kind of leverage the fact that Baron would pull DK Crew and they could secure the Dragon themselves. They don't have that this time. DK Crew, their entire focus is on Dragon, but they're looking for a fight.
Yeah, they want the fight. They are seeing it right as clear as day. Blaze trying to use the storm to keep everybody at bay. A nice gravity field into the mid. Schritzer has the putt to right about. Lawrence has already destroyed Flutz. Dragoon spinning wild into the back line. He is looking for Lawrence, but he's not going to be able to secure the kill as Lawrence is going off. DK Crew find themselves the A's, and they're taking it on to a game number 3.
Game 3 forced by DK Crew. It looked a little bit close at certain points, but DK Crew put themselves up 7,000 gold at 10 minutes, and they never really let go of the gas pedal. They have been in control of this game for the entire game, and they force a game 3, the fan favorites. Wow.
What a decisive early game 2 from DK Crew, right? Like, this is a composition that had a couple question marks from you and me, and they answered everything this time around. That was a very, very big W for DK Crew. And we're going into game 3 now.
I know. We get the game 3. It's not just going to be 2-0 sweeps. It's game 3 to decide who stays alive in the tournament.
My heart can't take this right now. I'm gonna be real with you. We can see the post game here. You can see the damage done. Put some respect on Savage's name. This Victor has been an influential pick this series.
Yeah, Savage. I honestly did not expect him to have dealt that much damage compared to Evan RL. It felt like it would have been a little bit closer, but wow, I mean, amazing game from really everybody on the side of DK Crew, because we saw Shorter Ace had 2 or 3 amazing plays in the early game where he was able to counter a play bottom, and then he went straight top and got a double kill up there. But my real MVP this game is Evan RL, because that mid lane team fight where he turned everything around, if he did not do that and it was just a clean 3 or 4 kills over to Cincinnati Fear, that gold lead is much smaller. And also just the momentum that Cincinnati Fear gets off that is much greater. So Evan RL this game just putting the team on his back. Him and Savage just performed excellently this game, and we've got a game 3 on our hands.
Especially after Short Ace did such a great job making sure to just control Trickster, right? It was a champion we talked about, a little bit risky. We'll have to see if what risk might be taken in game number 3, because now both teams are at the point where they are on their backs are just up against the wall. They're in a terrible situation. Both teams want to find their way in. It's elimination. It's do or die. We're going to take ourselves a short break so we can catch our breath and get ready for game number 3. So don't go anywhere.